All right, so we've brought you into the dashboard of Plainly, and essentially we are going to set up a new workspace so that way we can take you from the beginning to just the end through the product. So Sesh Co-working Space is one of our clients, but we want to now add SEO services for them. Now keep in mind, if you are a marketing agency or marketing specialist or somebody who offers, marketing services, I truly believe that you should add SEO into the mix because it's always a valuable way to bring organic traffic to your customer or to yourself if you're doing this for yourself. It's just co-working space. Let me just double check on my phone to make sure that this is the right domain. Yes, it is. So we'll add that. Okay. So then we will start looking into keywords for them. So this is a co-working space in Houston. So maybe we could put, co-working spaces in Houston. Now, if you don't have an idea, you can look for recommendations, but let's just start here. All right. So this is a pretty good search volume, but as you can say, it's difficult. And this is a pretty high, cost per click, right? Because it has commercial intent. It is what people want. That means that when people are looking for this, they're looking to make a decision on where to work in Houston, right? So that's something to keep in mind. You can also see the top 10 ranking URLs for that as well. And then we can look into related keywords, right? Because you can see what other keywords you can use. Maybe you want to use some that have a little less monthly search. Maybe you want some that you have more. Maybe it could be We Work Houston versus Sesh Co-working, and like what's the difference? Alternative pages, right? And it tells you exactly what kind of pages these are: comparison, brand, product, blog posts, guides. So this is important. The keyword explorer, I'm just going to save this part just so you're aware. But we could also hover over to competitor X-ray. So 3 competitors that are here in Houston when it comes to co-working space. One of them is switchyards.com, and you can see they get almost 1,000 organic visits. Now, SwitchYards is a well-funded co-working space. They are not just in Houston, they're quite all over the place. So that's something to keep in mind, but it doesn't mean just because something is more funded than you doesn't mean that they're more strategic than you, right? They have more connections, they have been out for quite some time, but you can still do some of the things that help them win with this tool. And that's where SEO comes in, right? So here you can see all of the keywords that they're organically ranking for, right? And you can see the difficulty, but some of these aren't difficult. Like co-working spaces near me actually doesn't have a high difficulty. So that would be something I would want to save, right? 24-hour places near me. Sesh offers 24 hours for those who actually are members, right? So they get 24-hour access. So that would be legible. Cafe internet near me, that would be legible. They also do have a coffee shop in the back. So there are some, and here we go. SwitchYard does get 18,000 visits, so it could be SwitchYards versus Sesh co-working space. So this is interesting because there are actually at least, let's see, this 74,000, 60,000. There's over 100,000 plus worth of clicks that could be coming if the proper things are set up. Let's go to the next page and see. So we have some lower ones. Now these ones aren't even in Houston, so I wouldn't care. SwitchYards Houston, maybe it could be SwitchYards Houston versus Sesh Co-working Space Houston, because they do offer different vibes and they have some different benefits but similar pricing. Internet cafe near me, so we could create pages for them that focus on this as well. So that's something to keep in mind. Down here there's a breakdown of how much their content is informational. So keyword wise, it looks like 30% is informational, 46% is navigational, so brand and product name lookup. So they have a pretty good existing demand, so that's good. Comparisons, 17%. We could really dial it up on the comparison pages. Transactional, 5%. Given that it's a co-working space, like it probably is a bit harder to know if it was transactional unless they buy a day pass directly through. But some people, could be scheduling a free tour. There's a couple of good options here. But all in all, there is a lot of opportunity for monthly traffic, especially with co-working spaces. So if you are a co-working space, don't sleep on this, because there are a lot of opportunities there. right? So that's something to keep in mind. Here's where you can run a gap finder, so you can, see we'll compare Sesh Co-working to your one-track competitor. So I'm going to try to see what gaps there are. This is where you really dig in and see where you can improve. All right, so we're not in Atlanta, so keep that in mind. Switch Yards is not just in Houston, so they have switchyards.com and then it's slash, so keep that in mind. So that's probably why Atlanta has came up, but think of this before Houston. So that's something to keep in mind. Benefits of co-working for entrepreneurs and informational. We don't have that, so I did not see that on their page, so let's definitely do that. Co-working benefits for freelancers, so we can save that as well. What is co-working? Something so small, that should be on there. Let's save that as well. Co-working versus traditional offices. I mean, they're ranking pretty well for this, so we've saved that as well, and these are things that we will probably want to add into our action plan. Now, page planner. This is when we need to actually start thinking, what pages do we need to add, right? So I'm open, and let's come. It's 10 pages. Let's hit it out the park going into June, right? So this is loading. All right. You know what? Yeah, co-working versus coffee shop. I know that's right. So let's get that page planner running. All right. So now we have these pages that are going to be planned. You can even review the brief. Outlines. I mean, you got the whole thing. Internal link targets with the primary call to action can be. I mean, you guys have, this tool is pretty compact with ways to win. So here are some of the briefs that we would do for our client, and it'd be good to go here. We can even generate an action plan. We all love an action plan, right? So, all right. See what page, if you're wondering what's the difference between action plan versus page planner. Page planner is just straight up for planning your pages, but this is more than just that. Maybe something to do with some of the pages though, like implement FAQ schema markup on relevant services, like those things. This is just an extra, expand and optimize Google My Business profile. Like it's more than just pages. So that's something to keep in mind. So if you really are looking for a tool that really walks you down, SEO, ways to improve, go ahead and take a peek at your competitors yourself, then I 100% recommend that you look into this tool. This tool is literally golden for you, for founders, for solo founders, for local businesses, and it's very, very affordable. Very, very affordable, right? This offers so much for such a small price. It starts at $19. It goes up to $99 at the highest rate. Some of these tools that offer these things actually start at $99 and go up to like $4.99. So just keep this in mind. It's the perfect tool for small businesses. All right, I'll catch you later.